Hi there, BookTube. This is going to be another weekly wrap-up, which can we just give me a thumbs up for doing 2 of those in a row, please? Thank you. And talk about Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. This is the original small little book Rowling wrote for a good cause. This book was good. It was not great. There are small little drawings in this book, like this one. But there are not for each creature mentioned or talked about in this book. And if it would have been that every little creature mentioned in this book would have gotten this small little drawing, it would have been such a more entertaining read than it was. And I'm kind of sad about that because they are not really illustrations. They're small little doodles in a way that a person drew. So why not draw one for every single creature mentioned? And then it would have been much more entertaining to read for many, many more people than they are currently reading and enjoying this book, because it is basically a dictionary. Not a lot of people are actually dictionary readers. Not a lot of people go out of their way to pick up a dictionary or a book written in dictionary style and read that from start to finish and enjoy themselves the entire time. But overall, it's still really entertaining, and I love seeing just how deep Rowling's understanding and imagination about the Wizarding world really goes. I love that about the book, and I love seeing that, and I really did enjoy reading this. I just think it's not for everybody, and if you are somebody that doesn't need all the details, that doesn't need all the explanations, that doesn't need all the descriptions, don't pick this up. It will be boring for you. It will be a chore for you to read. But if you're somebody like me that really enjoys getting unnecessary background information about a world you read and love, this will be entertaining. So decide for yourself what you're going to do. And now moving on to the last book I finished during the week, and that is It by Stephen King. Let's get into just ranting about this book. It is 1,375 pages long in this edition that I own. It could have easily been 600 to 800 pages shorter and not have lost any plot at all. The book would have been that. It would have told the exact same story, but faster and better, and I think way more entertaining and way more horrifying than it did in this version. And I'm saying that as somebody that really loves Stephen King. I love his big books. I don't have any problems at all reading a 700, 800, 900 page book by Stephen King. I fly through that. I enjoy mostly every second I spend in that book. And the few seconds I don't enjoy are over so fast that I basically forget them throughout the entire story, because he is a writer that can manage to write such an evolving story that you get completely sucked in, that you kind of feel like you're experiencing everything that the characters in the book are experiencing. I got none of that in this book, which I just find very strange. It in itself was not something I expected to be scared or horrified by. I was just expecting it to be one of those Stephen King books that I found very entertaining and very gratifying to have read. Sadly, it is not. Let's just start with the biggest issues. One, it itself was not the scariest thing in the book. And I think you have a problem if you name the book It, and it is supposed to be about this big scary monster that only children can see, and then that is not the scariest aspect in the entire book. Because if you're writing about a monster, write a book about a monster. Don't write about 300 other things. And the other thing that I really hated about the book is the constant switch between the ages of the main characters, because we get the aspects from when they were children and living in Derry when it was at large and killing other kids, and then we get their perspective when they are adult and it started killing again in Derry. A big chunk of this entire book all about the issues they have with their adult lives, and I was not there for that. So why would I be interested in reading that? What was not all about that was all about horrendously horrifying child bullying, and the worst way that you can imagine. All the characters in this book are really, really badly bullied, and none of the adults in the book step in and stop it in any way or form. Many of them actually join in the bullying, and the bullying is not just verbally, it is actually physical. That is the horrifying aspect of this book. There are so many things in this book, and it came out being too big a book with too many different plots that all kind of fizzle out into something that makes no real sense to me. Because yes, this book is about a monster, but in all honesty, for me, this book is more about monstrosity that is humankind. Because we have so many horrible people in this book that the actual it monster in this book is one of the least horrifying things in the book. And I think you have an issue if the main monster in a horror book is not the most horrifying thing in the monster book. And while yes, it killed children, it was also basically the most humane character in this book, because at least he killed the kids and didn't just continue to torture them. So yes, let's wrap this up and say, not at all the best book by Stephen King, not by a long shot. I think this is not at all really scary, at least not in the aspects that I thought it would be. And I don't think that the actual scary things in the book are supposed to be the most scary things in the book. But overall, my option, horrendously disappointed in this. I think I'm in a bit of a shock state to say that about a Stephen King. So what I want now from you guys is, if you have read it and you loved it, explain it to me. Tell me in the comments what it is that you loved about it, what you found scary about it, what was the horrendous thing I clearly missed in this book. That was not the people, not the bullying, not the physical assault, not other kids being horrendously bad to other kids, not the adults stepping aside and just ignoring what was happening with their children, but the actual monstrous aspect of it that were the scary, horrendously scary parts that everybody talks about. Let's talk about that in the comments, please. Let's leave it at that and end the rant here. I would love to know what you guys read during the week. Yeah, let's just talk about books down in the comments. Let's chat there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this ranting video. I hope to see you in my next one. And until then, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.